Hey everybody, it's me, Mitch Sounds Loving here, and I'm back with another Sakura Spirit episode for you guys today. And today I am by myself because everyone is asleep for some reason. So yeah. Well, by everyone I just mean Marine because he's the only one I've invited to this. So yeah. I mean others are allowed to join. They just have to comment down in the comment section if they want to join on this series or not. Anyways, let's get right into this. Let's make sure I get this. There we go. Checking 1, 2. Yep, it's working. Just had to check. Okay, here we go. Hikage, go around to the left. Right. I said left. Why do you always undermine me? I wasn't saying right. I was. You know what? Never mind. Just run after them. As I was chasing the girls, I noticed that the trees seemed to be getting denser, making it gradually more difficult to navigate along the path. One-sama, I don't think I can run much more. I'm starting to feel a little bit just a little longer, Mako-chan. We're almost Mako, not that. Not now. S sorry, One-sama. Scissor attack. I arrived just in time to find a scene taken straight from an action movie. The girl with the blonde hair had collapsed, held in her companion's protective embraces. The two armed girls. Okay. Hey Siri, can you start the timer for an hour? The two armed girls were approaching them almost unmistakably with killing instincts running amok. Any seasoned martial artist would have felt it. Those girls were going to be in for a beating if I didn't stop them. We've got you now, thieves. I'm going to personally drag your sorry butts back to town and have you both put in the stocks. Maybe I'll even show you how it feels to run around without any undies on. Yeah, although I must admit, having a breeze down there feels kinda nice. Keeps me feeling fresh and tingly. Oh my god. Kage! Goodness, don't you have any shame? This isn't about you, it's about our undergarments stolen, and these two criminals being brought to justice. Mm, One-sama, it hurts. My head hurts. Shh. It's okay. It's going to be okay, little one. Hey, guards, if you're so desperate to have your underwear back, then here, catch. Stop it right there. However, before I was able to interrupt the conversation, the silver-haired girl tossed something into the air. Whatever it was flying straight towards my head. The two samurai girls instantly grew flustered. Ugh, I can't see. What the hell who the hell tosses peeling the items off my face? I raised them to the air looking like a professor examining an important sample while the thieves made their escape. A pink bra and lacy black panties. Oh boy. I knew this wasn't going to end well. Ah, you there. Are you in cahoots with those crafty foxes? And hand those back immediately. Those are evidence of a crime and not for anyone else to touch. Drop those panties right now. I'm innocent until proven guilty. It's one of the golden rules of the court. Just stop pointing those weapons at me so I can hand over your undies without being turned into a shish kebab. What? No, stop. Shut up. Drop the evidence and walk away. I am Tsukino Mio, chief of the village guards, and I am ordering you to drop what you're holding right now. I don't know of any village guards, and I seriously doubt a cop would go around dressed like that and wielding a katana. More importantly, the ground here is muddy and dirty. Are you sure I should drop the evidence here? I mean, I could, but... Yeah! Before I could react, the pink-haired girl lunged towards me, the pointy end of her naginata aimed for my gut. My reflexes caught on just in time, and I was able to palm away the spear as it sailed through the air. I struck upwards on the wooden shaft of the weapon, sending it up into the air, and causing the girl to lose her balance. Narumi, I did not order you to attack. Fine, fine. I'll give them back. Jeez, just my luck to find a bunch of crazy girls with weapons. Extending the hand that held the panties, I tried to hand them over, something that would soon end up, I would soon end up regretting. Ha, you think I'd fall for something so simple? Fool. You may have fooled me once, but I won't let that happen again. A woman swung her weapon wide, arcing the thick wooden pole into the side before I could dodge. She then lunged forward, grabbing me tightly, pulling my arms around my back, leaving me with sore ribs and in a prone position. I could have fought back, but I figured it would only lead to more fighting, with the possibility of ending up stabbed. I decided to remain passive. The sword-wielding girl stepped forward and grabbed the silky underwear from my hand triumphantly. Your methods might be crude, but they do get results, Hikage. Tie him up. We'll bring him in for questioning. He probably knows where those pesky thieves are hiding. Right. And people wonder why criminals want to resist arrest at all costs. I mumble this meekly as the girl with the naginata tied my wrists together with the rope, and I soon felt myself dragged by the duo towards the city. Surely once we're out of the forest, you two will stop this act of yours and let me go, right? As much as I like to fool around, I have more important things to do. The city? Ha! We're not taking you all the way there. You'll be spending the night in the village cells, thief. Who are you calling thief? I'm the victim. First, I get undies tossed in my face. Then I had to deal with physical abuse. And now these accusations? Besides, there's no village around these parts. It's a city, you know. Suki no Toshi. Since silence, Hikage, if he speaks again before we get to the village, you have my permission to knock him unconscious. Tsundere tyrant. Hehe, that's funny. And that's how I ended up on my way to a jail cell, cuffed and dragged by two girls, both of who I started to suspect were crazy. When we exited the forest, our alarm set off in my mind. The city I had lived in my whole life, it was gone. You've got to be kidding me. If I wasn't in Tsukino Toshi, where then where the hell was I? Hey, no talking. Come on, I don't want to bop you that much, kinda. Maybe a punch or two? I just want to know how the heck you blocked my strike so easily. Your attack had a lot of power behind it, but it was kinda predictable. With the right movement and enough force, that's the result you get. Anyway, I'll play along for a bit. Where in the world are we? This clearly isn't my hometown. I mean, the buildings look more like they belong in some sort of classic samurai movie. Huh? What the heck is a movie? This is Harumaru. It's been here forever. Hikage, I thought I told you to silence him if he spoke again. Actually, you told me that I could, but you didn't tell me I had to. Must be tough being the subordinate of someone like that. Be quiet, or else I'll silence you for good. This time it didn't seem like it seemed to be an idle threat. The girl had unsheathed her katana and was now resting the edge of the blade against my throat. I was already starting to regret having played a hero earlier. Hopefully, there would be someone with more common sense in the village. Several minutes later. Ellipses. More ellipses. Even more ellipses. I soon found myself confined within a small room. The stern-looking tsundere of a girl glaring down at me, while the other girl, who was apparently called Narumi, seemed to have softened up a little. From what I had gathered during their conversations, they had called the village elder to help oversee my questioning. What purpose did these thieves have? Or are you just some pervert who gets off sniffing girls' undies? I ought to castrate you. I already told you, I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not to mention, anything worn by you would probably smell sour. I went, I couldn't see too well from the cell where they had put me, but I was almost certain I could hear Narumi laughing nearby. Tsukino Dono, please calm down. You brought him in to learn the reason behind his presence in the forest, didn't you? That is correct, Elder Sama. I believe he was working together with the fox spirits to steal panties and other undergarments. Objection. Huh? What are you objecting to, young man? The evidence surrounding the defendant's accusation was fabricated. Narumi-san, would you please answer this question for the judge? Was the defendant, that is, myself, anywhere near those girls while you two were in pursuit of them? Hold it. Just who are you calling a judge here? Lower your voice or I will strike you down. Hey, Mio-san, maybe the whole angry accusation thing isn't working. This guy clearly isn't a bandit. We could just ask him why he was up there in the woods. If he was, if he has a valid reason, then sure. If not, then he's clearly a panty thief. Uh, and we'll use him as a punching bag out in the yard. Finally, and here I thought this was about to become a turnabout case. I sighed deeply, partly amused by my own act despite the seriousness of the situation. Who would have ever thought mimicking characters from games and movies would end up getting me out of trouble? As long as I didn't become an ace prisoner, things would hopefully turn out for the better. A wise idea, Narumi-chan. How about you start by giving us your name? Gushiken Takahiro. So, what were you doing in the forest when these two were chasing the thieves? I'm not entirely sure myself. One moment I was praying at a shrine hidden inside the forest. Next thing I knew, some weird girl was talking to me. A girl? Yes, a girl with horns and a tail. I know it sounds weird, but I could have sworn I saw her before. I must have fainted. After that, I woke up somewhere in the forest. Hmm. Tsukino Dono. Narumi-chan, do you recall the stories behind the shrine near our village? Forgive me, Elder Sama, I do not recall. I know it's a place of high spiritual energy, a sacred place, but I can't remember the details. Sorry, grandfather. That shrine belongs to Surui, a powerful spirit that has been watching over our village for as long as anyone can remember. Unlike the fox spirits, we tend to avoid going too deep into the forest. I still think I could get rid of those pests once and for all if you would just let me go in and find their home. It's probably hidden in some damp cave on the hill or some run-down old house. Humans and spirits rarely mingle, even if they meet with good intentions. The fact that this lad says he saw a spirit means there is a chance he was there for a reason. Not to mention, did you take a good look at him yet? He seems disoriented and his clothes look foreign. He did seem to be talking gibberish earlier. He claimed to be from a city near here, but there's nothing like that around for miles. He was also talking about something called move, and he used some fighting techniques that I have never seen before. He is still a pervert. I'm not a pervert. It's perfectly natural for a guy my age to be curious about certain things. Besides, if you're talking about how the panties ended up on my face, I had nothing to do with it, tsundere tyrant. What did you just call me? I ought to smash you into piece smash you to pieces, you brat. Oh, wait, now that I think about it, those two foxes did look like they were just abandoning them. But grandfather, what does this all mean? I can't be certain. However, I believe it is unlikely that he's working together with the fox spirits. Still, I have never heard of any human to come upon a spirit such as a Suyuri. I dare say he might not even be of this world. Wait, are you trying to say that I'm in a different world right now? That would be the most logical explanation. In what world would that be considered logical? But I have an important tournament to participate in 2 weeks from now. Well, no one has ever experienced something like this before. We will have to think of how to deal with you, or if or if it is even possible to get you back to your own world. In the meantime, a night in the cell won't hurt. He did assault a village guard, and he resisted arrest. He could stay here until he rots for all I care, but I suspect the elder will wish to have a talk with you soon. Hikage, I am going to clean myself off. I suggest you do the same. I would take offense for implying that I stink, but that was one hell of a run. Those fox spirits run fast. I would still like to know more about those techniques, Takahiro-san. If you don't hap if you do happen to stick around, I might want to go a few rounds with you. It's not like I'll be going anywhere for the time being. It is only for a few hours while we discuss what to do with you. A person such as yourself would end up causing quite the commotion amongst the villagers, so it is necessary to convince them that you mean them no harm before we release you. And that was how I found myself stuck in a jail cell while the people responsible for my situation left to deal with personal errands. This sucks. As if being sent to a different world wasn't bad enough, I'm stuck in a jail with my only company being a pair of beautiful, magnificent, majestic fox sisters, you lucky boy. Yeah. A pair of beautiful. Wait a second. Yeah! Yahoo! Hi there, panty boy. Oh my god. A familiar face appeared at the top of my cell. A blonde girl with golden eyes. As I watched as she flipped over and landed in front of the cell, waving her hands at me from the side of the cell. Another girl appeared, a wry grin on her face. Ah, it's the panty thieves. If you're here to claim your hostages, they're already back where they belong. Nope. We saw the guards go into the baths and swiped the maid's silk again. Look. With that, she pulled out a pair of lacy silken underwear from her sleeve and stretched out with her thumb, showing off her panty price to me. You came all the way back to snatch their underwear again? And I'm not sure the Sundari Tyrant fits that label. The the cutie with the katana? You would be surprised. I happen to believe that she is as innocent as one can be. She seems far too uptight to let any man touch her. As for returning to the village, we have a debt to settle. I smiled weakly as I wondered what the fox meant by debt. I'm not sure what this debt of yours might be, but I think you better leave before those two return. You don't seem to be on friendly terms with the samurai girls. Wait, if he doesn't know about it, we can just leave One-sama. We can just leave One-sama. Mako! That is not how we do things. Young man, your actions allowed us to escape our earlier predicament without harm. This places us in your debt, for which we are now repaying you. Mako, do the magic. Okay. The younger girl walked forward and placed her hands upon the locked door of the cell. She began mumbling something that I couldn't even begin to understand, and her hands began glowing brightly. Different worlds, girls wielding weapons, and now fox girls using magic. Next on the list, I'm going to I'm going to find a talkative magical sword and end up destined to save the world. That said, I was curious to see what this magic would do to the lock keeping me imprisoned. Ha! Hmm. The glow flared for a moment before quickly fading. There was a hiss and then a sizzle as the lock dripped to the floor in a mess of melted metal. Well done, Mako-chan. You did very well. Relax for now, alright? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be the most. What is supposed to be the. Oh my gosh, these sentences! I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be the most surprised about. The fact that a girl just melted a steel lock, or that I'm starting to accept that this is normal. This level of magic is extraordinary. Mako-chan is quite gifted. But as I said, we are here to settle our debt. If you would like, we can escort you back to the forest where we first encountered you. I do, however, suggest that you decide quickly. The guards do not bathe for long. I should know. I have observed them for a while. Well, I don't plan on sticking around, so I'll gladly accompany the two of you out of here. Maybe I'll be able to find my way back home. Lead the way, peeping Tammy. Machiko, Sakurano Machiko, not Tammy. Takahiro, but I suggest we keep the introductions for later. Very well then, Taka-kun, follow. I was stepping out of the cell. The sound of familiar voices boomed in the distance. Thieves! Crafty foxy kleptoma, kleptomaniac. What the fuck? Kleptomaniacs? Okay. I'll skin you alive! I think that's our cue to get out of here. And with that, the three of us darted out of the prison. And that's pretty much what happened. According to the village editor, there's supposed to be a shrine somewhere in the forest. It must be the same one I visited before I got caught up in this mess. Goodness, that sounds like a terrible situation. I know that spirits such as Sururi enjoy playing with people, but this seems a little cruel for her. I would speak with her myself, but er, fuck spirits are not allowed near the shrine. Huh? I thought the reason we never go there was because you get all flustered whenever Su-chan's around. Shut up, Mako. Hmm? I didn't realize a panty thief could get embarrassed like that. But maybe you two could show me the way to the shrine? Somehow the layout of this forest seems different from my world. Which pretty much meant that area's map was useless now. You do not understand. There is more to the ways of us spirits than meets the eye, Takakun. I will try to navigate you to the shrine, but if Sururi does not want us there, then we will simply not get there. The only places we can navigate to directly are our home and the village. I could use gate magic, but that takes a super long time to cast, and unless I concentrate really hard, it usually ends up just taking us someplace, not fun. I think I'll prefer taking the grand route. But thanks for the offer, Mako-chan. Was it? That's right. Sakurano Mako, at your service. Yay! My first human friend. Silly girl. Not that I doubt your navigation skills or anything, but didn't we cut across this path a while ago? Oh, you're right. Why are we back here, Onesama? Huh? I thought you were leading the way. Wait, I think if we turn this way, cut through these trees here, we might. Ah! Jeez, that scared me for a second. Okay. The girl seemingly disappeared out of sight as she stepped in between two tall trunks, only to be followed by a loud splash. I ran towards the trees and looked down to see the girl, arms flailing wildly, neck deep in a slow-moving river. Ah! One-sama! One-sama! Quick! Please, you have to help her. I'm begging you. I'll do whatever what you want. Just please save her. Help! It doesn't look that deep, you know. D don't tell me your sister can't. She can't swim! Neither of us can! Please, Takahiro-sama, please rescue my sister. I guess I don't have a choice. Smiling weakly, I pulled off my jacket and dove into the river. The cold water sending shivers down my spine as I swam towards Machiko, who, despite the lack of a strong current, was slowly disappearing under the water. Urged on, uh, urged on by the worried shouts of Mako, I tried to reach the girl as quickly as possible. It took me a few strokes before I reached her, but by the time I grabbed a hold of her and pulled her out of the water, she had lost consciousness. She's not breathing. I felt my stomach drop. Dreadful thoughts of what might happen if I didn't do something began to fill my mind. But in a world, in the world could, but what in the world could I possibly do? CPR? I don't know what that is. She's not breathing. Help her. Please save her. One-sama, please wake up. Okay, but I need to concentrate. Can you find something to dry her off with? Right. Great. A mage without a revive spell. As if trying to steel my nerves for what I was about to do, I muttered those words just before leaning in. As all I could remember from my first aid training was that the patient had to be in a so-called recovery position, and that I had to blow air into their mouth and push down on their chest. My heart pounded faster and faster as I looked down at the fox girl. I could feel my cheeks heating up as I blushed as a blush spread across my face. Clumsily, I put her into what I hoped was the right position, and slowly I lowered myself towards her face. My lips parted. Ahem. If you were this desperate for a kiss, you could have just asked. I know I am a beautiful, exquisite creature, but pushing me into a river so you can play a hero is a bit too much, Taka-kun. What is this? Oh, that's not what I want. Return. Forget how to put this down so I can see. Well, whatever, that's fine. I guess we can see enough. It's not like that. I went in to save you. Oh ho ho. Why thank you, oh valiant hero, for your rescue. I must admit, I am not the greatest swimmer. But you know, it is often better to get permission from the maiden you've rescued before you can claim them as your reward, silly. I didn't have a choice. Either claim your lips or death would claim you instead. And a bold choice that was. Where where is Mako? I hope she didn't try to save me first. She is even worse at swimming than I am. She's fine. She should be heading back here right now. In that case, I believe we have enough time. So how about it, Takakun? My little sister will be back in a few minutes. And am sure a boy like you have probably never kissed a girl before. So how about it? Want to claim this maiden's lips? Don't make me toss you back into the river. Aw, such a shame too. I was looking forward to finding out just how sweet your lips tasted. I'm not sure I want to find out what a wet fox tastes like. Oh, I assure you, I taste a lot better when I'm wet. Oh my god. For some reason, I don't think we're talking about the same thing anymore. I felt my cheeks flushing up slightly at Machiko's teasing words, and I awkwardly scratched my cheek. Anyway, at this rate, you're going to catch a cold. Then perhaps you should warm me up, Takakun. More importantly, we need you to get out of those soggy clothes. Oh my, Takakun, so bold. Please, won't you unbutton my top for me? It, if you insist. My fingers shook as I reached down to the laces of her bodice? What? I don't know. That's. Anyways, I was blushing brightly, and my head was spinning as I felt my fingers touch the cloth. Before I could continue any further, I heard a whoosh behind me. I felt something heavy impact against my body. My body dropped forward as I felt a nasty blow to the back of my head. Anoi-sama, I brought the... Oh no, Taka here! I could barely focus as the blonde girl began to fuss over me, but it was no good. Between running my butt off all day, the tsundere tyrant, the following rescue, and now the blow to the head, I felt myself slip into unconsciousness. Later that day. Ellipses. More ellipses. Even more ellipses! Hours must have passed by the time I finally regained consciousness. The first thing I noticed was something soft resting against me. For a moment, I wondered what it could be. Little did I know, that whatever it was, I would soon be very much awake. M Machiko? My voice caught in my throat, easily betrayed by my voice at seeing the fox spirit resting beside me. Of course, it didn't help that she was stark naked. My gaze drifted along her features. I hadn't really put a lot of thought into it until now, but she really was beautiful. Now's my chance. I had been curious about something for a while now, and decided to finally get my answer. I carefully lifted my hand towards her head. My fingertips lightly caressed along a single furry ear. To my surprise, the fur felt real, confirming my theory. So she's a real fox spirit. As I looked over the peacefully sleeping girl, it was difficult to imagine someone like her being a panty-stealing troublemaker. Up close, she looked incredibly cute. and naked at that, no less. The fact that she was lying right beside me caused my cheeks to flare up, beet red in an instant. Mm, no, Saruri, not again. Is she dreaming? Amused by this, I reached a hand out to poke her cheek gently, but the sound of footsteps made me reconsider. Ah, Takahiro, you're awake. Shh. Don't wake One-sama. She's a light sleeper, and she's been super tired lately. S sure, but Mako-chan, mind explain why your sister is sleeping to me n n without clothes on? Heh, you two look super cute, all cuddled up together earlier. One-sama said that you told her it was important that she took her clothes off. So she took hers off, and then we took yours off. After that, she tried keeping you both warm by getting under the covers and laying in the sun. However, in the end, she fell asleep. What? Were you watching me just now? Yep. You were both so soundly sleeping so soundly, it was super adorable. I wanted to cuddle up with you too, but One-sama told me off for cuddling with her in her sleep before. I think I get it. She does look rather adorable when she's sleeping like that. Let's keep it that way for now, Mako. I took a deep breath. I was about to open my mouth to say something when Mako suddenly spoke up with a smile. We brought you home to our mansion. We brought you to our spare room 'cause it has the best light during the day. I was only watching you for a bit when I got bored, so I went and made some soup. Onae-sama always makes me a soup when I feel bad. Do you want some? Sure, I could go for some soup, but Mako-chan, before that, I need I need to ask you a favor. Hmm? I need you to go and get my clothes because I'm kind of naked here. I lifted the blanket enough to allow a shameful glance at the cause of my current predicament. My face visibly took on the shade of a tomato when I noticed Mako leaning over for a similar peek under the blanket, and I quickly closed the gap. I I think I'm going to stay under the blankets for a bit. Could you could you just please bring me my clothes? Aw, but you might wake her up if you don't go back to sleep. But fine, if you insist, I'll go get your clothes. You're no you're no you're no fun, you know. I wanted to see what a human looked like, but One-sama forbid me from peeking. Please just go. The girl almost skipped to the door, giggling to herself. The door slid open, and she hopped outside, vanishing behind the paper screen. Once I had confirmed that Mako had left the room, I turned my gaze sideways, because back on that peaceful expression of a slumbering fox by my side. For a moment, I thought about the things the two girls had been accused of. Okay, so stealing underwear isn't exactly the nicest thing to do, but when I look at her like this, I can't picture her as anything but a normal girl. While the temptation to lift the blanket was strong, I felt a little nervous about the thought. Still, as much as I tried to hold myself back, I couldn't resist the temptation of turning to my side to get a better glimpse of her. Gingerly, I took a hold of the blanket. No, Takahiro. Neither a gentleman nor a hero takes advantage of a sleeping lady. And yet, who am I kidding? This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. In the end, the perverted little devil within me won the morality struggle, and with shaking hands, I tried to lift the blanket. Stop! Yikes! I don't want any blackberries. White as the very sheets I was lying on, my heart pounded louder than ever. Without a word, I dropped the blanket. She was still dreaming, mumbling away in her sleep. But she had scared the living daylights out of me. After a while, Mako returned and deposited my now dry clothes in my lap. She smiled at me and lingered for a few moments, as if expecting me to begin changing. Oh, of course, the soup. I'll go get it now, but don't change too slowly, okay? I bet you'd hate for me to sneak in a peek. Don't think guys spend as much time changing as girls. Wait, were you planning to peek on me? I occurred It occurred to me that perhaps Mako was more like her sister than I had first assumed. Hee hee hee. It sure sounds like you know what you're talking about, Takahiro. And, well, I might have been thinking about it. I'm kind of curious about the difference between us foxes and you humans. Like, it was amazing how easily you carried Sis out of the water. It Is it because you're human? Actually, I think it's probably because I'm a guy. We tend to be stronger than girls. Not to mention, I practice judo almost every day. It it would be embarrassing if I couldn't even carry a girl. Judo? Judo. It's a sport of sorts. Although it's also for used for self-defense. Is that why you saved her? Because this judo? Well, that's not really it. Ultimately, saving a damsel in distress hinges on a man's pride. Oh, can I see it? Your pride? And just what exactly are you looking for, little sister? One-sama, I wasn't. You're wrong. The soup's still cooking. I need to tend to it. Oh my god. She went so fast. Uh, the young girl scrambled to her feet and dashed out of the room at full speed, her tail comically hanging between her legs as she did. I turned to Machiko with a faint blush on my face, averted my eyes so she could pull the sheet back up around herself. Ah, I see you're finally awake, Machiko-san. With you two making such a fuss about judo and soup, how could I possibly hope to get any sleep? I am glad to see that you are well, Takakun. Forgive me for taking such measures, but I feared that I wasn't getting warm fast enough and did what I thought was necessary. At least it was more enjoyable, a more enjoyable sleep than you would have had in the cell. I doubt the tsundere tyrant was it? I doubt she would have given you the same service. Let's just say that the hospitality was much appreciated. I'm glad to hear that. If you would like to change, there is a screen just over there. I promise I won't look, of course. I I guess one of us has to do it. I watched Machiko close her eyes, hiding her face in her hands, as if to reassure me that she wouldn't peek. Taking my chances, I climbed out from under the blanket and made my way towards the wooden screen. I reached once I reached it, I quickly began changing. If you could be so kind to do me a favor, Takakun, my robes should be upon the dresser behind you. Could you pass them to me, please? It would speed up matters up greatly. Sure. Give me a second. After looking around for a moment, I found the robes neatly folded up on the dresser. My heart skipping a beat as I took a hold of them before turning towards the screen and handing them over. Say, Machiko-san, how come you two walk around stealing people's underwear? I mean, you don't look like bad people to me. Well, it is complicated. Mako was researching a spell she had wanted to perform, one that would allow us easier access to certain things we need, and one of the ingredients was made in silk. The only silk I could think of was, well, you already know the answer. By made in silk, you mean I guess I understand why you would think that, but isn't made in silk another term for a wedding sash? It is in my world, at least. As I said this, the girl appeared from the other side of the screen. I I never realized. What's that, One-sama? A made in silk, it is a wedding sash. All of our work was for naught. Oh, well, at least a wedding sash will be easier to get. I'll just have to marry Takakun. Oh my god. What? A few minutes later. Ellipses. More ellipses. Even more ellipses. After that little incident, we relocated to the kitchen. The smell of food filled the air. Despite the younger girl's easygoing attitude, always humming some cheerful melody, I found my cheeks still burning from embarrassment to think that a girl would say such a thing. I quickly shook my head. Fucking, oh my gosh. I quickly shook my head to clear the thoughts from my mind and turned towards the eldest sister. The soup is delicious. Is Mako-chan usually the one doing the cooking around here? Yay, I'm glad you like it, Takahiro. I don't usually cook, so I made a few lucky guesses. It is rather delicious, Mako-chan. Perhaps you could do more cooking from now on. It would allow me more time to lounge around. Well, the first step to gain your wedding sash is to become a good housewife, and that includes cooking. I added this with a bit of amusement, following Machiko's comment. I took another sip of the soup. For a few lucky get for a few lucky guesses, this dish had turned out pretty well. Hmm, that's true. I'll learn how to clean and I'll cook for you, and I don't know what else, but it'll be fun learning. Mako, you should stop that. You know very well that it would be pointless for you to marry him. Only the villagers know how to craft a sash, and we both know this will not happen. Hmm, that's not necessarily true, Machiko-san. It only becomes ever more evident that you are not of this world, Takakun. The villagers do not tolerate our existence. They despise us. We could never ask such a favor of them. All we have to do is to find some way to make the villagers accept you. But I guess I'll need to learn more about the village itself before we can do that. The pale-haired woman shook her head slowly, her ears flattened against her head as she did. It is not that simple. They would never trust us. Humans and fox spirits have never been able to get along. I am honestly surprised that you have been able to tolerate us this long. I would be happy to be proven wrong, and you are free to stay here as long as you wish until, of course, you too grow wary of our ways and decide to leave. One-sama, please don't say things like that. Takahiro wouldn't do that. Would you? Would you, Takahiro? Of course not. I wouldn't abandon someone just because they're a different species. That's not the way of Gushiken Takahiro. That's not the way Gushiken Takahiro does things. Oh, I accidentally saved that. Um, however, I do remember the village elder telling me that it was. However, I do remember the village elder telling me that just it wasn't just the fox spirits, that it sounded like humans and spirits everywhere have been on bad terms for a long time. Do you know why, Machiko-san? I did not recall. Much information is withheld even from someone such as myself. Most spirits keep uh, most spirits keep to themselves these days. There are a few exceptions, Suyuri being one of them. Powerful spirits come and go as they please, but they tend to remain in their world. Fox spirits, however, have no other place to go. We are stuck in the human world for better or for worse. Huh? I didn't realize it was like that. Guess I'm finally learning stuff. Well, this Sururi character lives in the shrine, right? We should try asking her for some ideas. No, we don't need to go see her. Absolutely not. No, I don't want to see her. I don't want to. I was somewhat taken aback by Machiko's sudden childish way of speaking. It reminded me of the times I had been told to go visit the doctor when I was younger, complaining and throwing tantrums along the way. But isn't she the only one that can help us? I refuse to go. Sururi is a fiend, and I dislike the idea of spending even a second in her presence. She can't be that bad, can she? Besides, if anything happens, I'll protect you. Fine. If it really means that much to you, I will attempt to lead you to the shrine again, but you will enter the grounds alone. I do I don't want to go anywhere near that place. You will be on your own, Takakun. Can I come, One-sama? Absolutely not. I forbid it. You are not to follow us under any circumstances, Mako. Fine, I'll stay here, just like you said. I'll be here in the mansion, all alone, unprotected, all by myself. Who knows what might happen to me? I could get trapped under a bookcase and die, or slip on a banana peel and die. Huh? Eh? Or get bored and die of boredom. I'd be so super duper bored sitting here all alone in the same place, day in and day out. Fine, fine, I get it. You may come along, but you must be on your best behavior, little one. No running around and no talking unless spoken to. Okay. Despite Mako's cheerfulness, I couldn't help but wonder what had happened between Machiko and the Sururi for her to react so strongly. I decided that maybe it would be a bad idea to spend some time with the two sisters to get to know them a bit better. Well, I do have 2 weeks until I need to get back to my own world. So there's really no need to rush. How about we do something else instead? I'm sure Machiko-san wouldn't mind the distraction. Hmm. Well, the longer I get to stay away from that place, the better. How about bringing Mako-chan along to go fetch some dessert for us? There are oranges, apples, and a small vineyard behind the mansion. I could whip up some cream to go with it, if you would like. Sure, that sounds easy enough. Let's get us some delicious fruit, Mako-chan. All right. As Mako-chan led me towards the garden of the impressive mansion, she seemed a little quiet, as though she had something on her mind. I wanted to ask her about it, but something about the way her ears sagged and her tail hung low told me that probably wasn't the best idea. I decided I would simply try to cheer her up. So, which do you prefer, Mako-chan? Apples, grapes, or oranges? We could gather all three, but I bet we could and grab a few for ourselves first. Um, apples, I guess. I knew a fox spirit once, a friend of One-sama, who loved apples. I can't remember her name though. I guess my head's a bit hollow. Apples are awesome, crunchy on the outside and sweet on the inside. And your head isn't hollow, silly. If that was true, I think I'd still be stuck in that jail cell. One-sama did most of the thinking though. I just sort of went along with what she said. Well, someone has to take the lead. Besides, I'm still grateful for your help all the same. How about I playfully flicked Mako's forehead with a grin. See? Doesn't sound hollow at all. I'm sure there's plenty of clever thoughts in that pretty little head of yours. Ow, meanie. Now you, now you know I'm right, at least. Anyways, let's get those apples, shall we? Okay, I'll get them. You go grab the basket over there. Alright, let's get down to business. Feeling hyped, I went to grab one of the baskets stacked nearby and oh, returned to Mako who had started climbing one of the trees. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining for this episode. Make sure you guys put a like, subscribe, dingle the bell notification icon, and I'll see all of you guys on the next one.